afternoon. My name is Katrina Smith, and I'm so pleased for you to join me today. Today, we're going to talk about the project approach. So, I haven't really had much experience with the project approach because I am more of a teacher-led curriculum that offers freedom for the children to have free choice during center play. I use the Adventures in Learning through the Arkansas Better Beginnings, and I've used that for about 4 years now, and I've had great success. But that doesn't mean that the project approach is not the right choice for you. So let me get into it. Here we are, we have the project approach by me, Katrina Smith. So where did it begin? Well, it says here that the project approach was grounded by John Dewey way back in 1916. But then it was made popular by Kilpatrick. He made it popular in 1918. Again, that's over 100 years ago. So this is not a new concept. This is not something brand new. This is not something that Arkansas Department of Education has just thrown at us. This is something that's been at our fingertips and we had no idea. Oh, and it says here, between 2000 and 2014, Lillian Katz and Sylvian Chard applied Dewey's philosophy to create a relevant approach to teaching young children. They created a tool that helped us to assess the children in the project approach. Let's continue. What is a project? Some of you may think that a project is something that the teacher has put out for the children to do, a copy, cut, and paste. Everybody looks the same. No, that couldn't be farther from the truth. A project is an investigation of something worth learning about. So that means that it can be anything from learning about the community helpers, which is what we experienced in my presentation, or it could be something as simple as water. Just exploring water, what sinks and what floats in water. Anything that the children find is worth learning about, that is a project. There are parts of the project. There's a driving question, like I said, the children's interest. There's community experts. If you're discussing water, call the water department. They would have somebody who could come and share their information with your class and with you, because we're also learning every day. These children have a lot to offer us. An authentic presentation. So when the water department does come, they're going to bring their tools that they use to turn water on and off. They may bring pictures or books for us to share. Those are authentic presentations. The assessment and feedback of the project is what you get from it and what the children get from it. To assess the children, it's what you find that they learn from it. What part of their developmental health has been helped by this project? Projects aren't just fun, let's go play. It's more than that. It's so much more than that. And the project reflection is when the children are so proud of what they've learned, they get to share. Most of the time we share with our parents, but those are the most important people to the children. Let's move on. How to find a project? That's a good question. There's not a list. There's not a right or wrong. There's not a yes or no. These are some ways to help you find a project. Sometimes a topic may emerge naturally from the community or the environment that the children are exposed to. If someone's dad is a mechanic and they come in here to pick them up, completely filthy and covered with grease, it could spark an interest. Something as small as that. It could be that when the teacher observes the children's play, they notice something. Maybe little Timmy is over here in home living and he's cooking, but he's starting to yell. Maybe his dad works at a restaurant. Maybe his mom's a chef. Maybe they work at McDonald's. That's what it means by the teacher observing. The teacher could also discuss interests with the children. You could just straight ask, hey, what do you want to learn about today? Or what have you been up to this week? What's in your mind, little Susie? What theories are the curriculum philosophy based on? So I found that there are two. John Dewey, who we spoke about earlier in the presentation, John Dewey's educational theory is based on the idea that people learn and grow through experiences and interactions with the world. That's how children learn, isn't it? Through play and experiences. Things can be taught, yes, that's true. But hands-on learning is of the most importance in preschool age children. The next is constructive theory, which aligns with Dewey's theory as well. Students construct their own knowledge through experience and reflection. You learn it, you talk about it. If you don't think that they've got it the first time, it's okay to do it again. Repetition is amazing and very helpful in the early childhood education. How should young children be educated? Here is where we get all into the project approach. It says that the project approach explains that children learn through experiences. That's what John Dewey was saying. Some experience include a sensory exploration, various kinds of play, activities, observation by the teacher, and practice, showing what they can do, doing what they can do, exercising their minds. What is the role of the teacher? This is where I learned the most. The teacher is to help the learner know, matter the age, understand what they already know more deeply and accurately, while strengthening their disposition to continue learning through life. We're not just 1 + 1 is 2. That's not what teaching is about. We want to take what they already know because they're very vigilant on this world. They want to know. They're very curious. They're very sensitive to things that are happening in their world and in their future. This is our part. This is where we come in. We take what they already know and expand on it. Expansion of learning is amazing. I love to see the growth in all of my children every single year. What are the benefits and some potential challenges to the project approach? Some challenges are shortage of willing community participants. The fire department could very well be very busy at the time that you're learning and they cannot come. Or the doctors may be booked solid that they can't take a break to come and speak with your classroom. That could be a challenge because then you're relying on books. And it's not so much of an experience as it is a hands-on learning activity. Sometimes a project can be left incomplete, and that's okay. Not everybody has the same interest. That's another challenge. But a benefit is collaboration. When you get everyone together and they're learning all about the same thing, their ideas just spark. You're building on communication skills. You're building on social skills. You're building on their critical thinking, problem solving, which is the next one, and their perseverance. They're building on language development. They're building on their physical health, fine motor skills in some instance. They're learning on mathematical thinking. There are many, many benefits to the project approach. How does it compare with the teacher-led curriculum? As you can see, I've only added 3. There's many more to come. Teacher-led has a place and it has a time. The project approach is the same. I feel like that there is no right or wrong way to teach a child. There's only a best and better way. Teacher-led, it has clarity and structure. You know what's happening next. You make lesson plans. You follow a lesson plan, and it will most of the time play out. In this situation as a teacher-led curriculum, we are the expert. We do lessons on things that we understand about the world. And like I said before, we are still learning. There's a better assessment tools. When you know what everybody's learning, you know what everybody should know by the end. With the project approach, that can be difficult. Susie may not know anything about fire departments other than they're big scary men who come in when the house is on fire. And little Timmy's dad could be a firefighter. He knows loads more about fire departments and firefighters than Susie does. So assessing everybody's learning is a little bit different for the project approach. But here's what is good for the project approach. Creativity. You can be very creative with the project approach, whereas a teacher-led is more of a step A, step B, step C kind of learning. It helps the problem solving. With problem solving in the project approach, you can see and you can help individualize activities. Because little Timmy does know more about fire departments, you could pair him up with Susie, who doesn't know anything about the fire department. Then those two are learning and they're interacting with their peers, which is a huge social, emotional skill. And I feel like the project approach builds self-confidence. Children are proud of what they learn. And if it's a project that lasts 2 or 3 weeks and their parents come in and they can tell them all about it, that makes the children shine. It makes their hearts glow. Being proud is a very important emotion. How to plan out a project. Webbing is a great way to start. So here in our example, it's kind of small, I do apologize. We have community helpers, like I said before. So I went through and I asked the students, what is a community helper? They answered things like people who help us, people who work in the community, people who are at the grocery store. Those are all correct answers. So we made a list. We chose fire department, police officers, teachers, nurses, and a doctor. All good answers. Then under those, we said, what does the doctor use? Stethoscopes, white coats, needles. What does a firefighter need? Fire truck, helmets, water hoses, so on and so forth. This is how you begin a project. Child-led activities support all the domains in our CEDLs. Here we have a visit to the fire museum. This child is interacting with their peers and with trusting adults, the firefighters. Here we have a child who's painting in a Ziploc bag, mixing yellow and red together. That is a scientific domain. They're also demonstrating fine motor skills by using their fingers to paint in the Ziploc bag and mix the colors. These children are also using science because they're exploring new things, and they have a concept of their cognitive ability because they're willing to try new things more often with the project approach. Down here we have a firefighter who's come to a school and demonstrating things to everybody. These children are interacting again with the adult, a trusted adult, the firefighter, and they're using communication, using social and conversational rules. They're listening to the fire department, and then the fire department allows them to have their turn. They're waiting their turn. These are big, important skills that the project approach allow you to develop. This last example is just a firehouse with tools. There is an engaging and symbolic and abstract thinking. They're taking something that could be used for anything. Doctor, police station, firehouse, and they're making it a firehouse. They made it a firehouse. They added water hoses, fire hydrants, fire trucks. They made it what they wanted it to be. The project approach has many benefits with only just a few challenges. I challenge you to try the project approach. I know that I'm going to talk with my director more and see if it's something that we could work in. Maybe as this summer comes, we can use this curriculum, the project approach, and see if it's a success for our children in our area. Not every area is the same. Not every child is the same. Thank you for joining me.